You know when Kendrick says watch the party die, you have to stop the party after a while. If you don't stop and keep it going until you're 50, you end up where Diddy is. Eventually, you just need to exit the stage and say, I'll catch you later, well, Aubrey's and Gentlegrams. Looking back over the past year, bruised and bent, the world seemed as divided as it could get. From politics to cultural shifts to petitions printed like hot warnings, the samurai whose words never miss was Kendrick Lamar. The party is over, so knock out the like and subscribe buttons and put them to bed. On September 11, 2024, Kendrick Lamar dropped a cryptic Instagram post, a picture of two beaten-up black Air Force Ones, along with a song. This wasn't just any song. It was Kendrick's first release since his legendary battle with Drake. Well, Drake and his crew teased around too. This song made it clear Kendrick was on a bigger mission. It shook the entire hip-hop world when Kendrick surprise released the untitled 5-minute track that night. With nothing but the image of those shoes, a pair of black Air Force Ones, boom, that's them. Internet detectives quickly traced the shoes back to an eBay listing in North Little Rock, and suddenly my phone was blowing up. The shoes, bought for just $70, instantly became a piece of hip-hop history. Once the couple who owned them realized what happened, they canceled the sale and put them up for auction starting at $5,000. Since they also owned the image, they planned to sell t-shirts with it. At the time, the song felt like another piece of Kendrick's trademark layered storytelling, but a year later it reads like a prophecy. Kendrick wasn't just rapping about a party. He was diagnosing an entire culture and predicting the fractures that would soon define both hip-hop and the wider world. In the 12 months after the song dropped, the party really did begin to collapse. We watched industry empires crumble. Giants like Diddy, Lil Durk, and Big U got caught up in RICO cases, staring down decades in prison. Young Thug beat a RICO case, walked out free, and seemed to make it his mission to take down Ghana, the one artist thriving on his label. Focusing more on street politics than music and burning bridges with nearly everyone he had ever worked with, sending shockwaves through a once tight-knit Atlanta trap scene.
I don't feel like you came home humble, bro. Enough. And then when you got out, I don't feel like you was focused, bro, the way you should have been. I feel like you taking your blessing for granted. Came home playing again.
With Thug breaking himself down in the process.
I just don't got my twin, bro. I don't got my friends, bro. I'm just up, right? I'm up, bro. The nigga who I be with every day, I don't got him no more, bro. I'm up, bro. I don't know what to do, bro. Like, and I ain't lose no nigga to a tragic or now. I lost a to betrayal, bro. You signing that one piece of paper, signing your initials on this one piece of paper could get me a life sentence, man. I get a life sentence all this piece of paper you signed, bro. Damn.
But it wasn't just a few artists getting exposed. Over the last 12 months, many others showed their true colors when faced with adversity or criticism. We saw Kanye West suffer multiple meltdowns on Twitter, cutting himself off from the entire world. We saw DJ Academics, who was directly called out by Kendrick Lamar during his battle with Drake, not only spread propaganda, but also act in extremely inappropriate ways when he thought no one was watching.
Self-righteous. I call you hip-hop Jesus because that's how people look at you. The plight that Kendrick seems to be fighting is now clearly aimed at people who he thinks are frauds. A lot of the industry, they're frauds. If you can't outmaneuver him, sometimes you gotta wait till he checkmates himself because you don't have the moves to beat him. This was a misstep for me. Not the song being whack. I don't think it's whack, but I think it's a misstep. The rapper who has been known as the "we gonna be all right" rapper, the guy who is for the culture, he spent an entire career standing on the right side of those fights, going against the establishment. But we've seen a different Kendrick Lamar this year. This is a Kendrick Lamar who, whether you want to admit it or not, this is a Kendrick Lamar who's moving off of self-admitted hatred. Not maybe as righteous as maybe.
We saw veterans like Lil Wayne try to steal the spotlight and downplay Kendrick Lamar's accomplishments when he wasn't chosen for the Super Bowl halftime show. And later in the year, we saw whether Kendrick truly deserved that title. We saw Pusha T fight censorship from his own record label before finally leaving, and we saw La Brianna take an unprecedented step by using legal filings to censor Kendrick during their battle. All of these events came from the same root: division, the feeling of losing control over a culture you once owned. Even beyond music, the division grew worse. Trump reclaimed the presidency, the political climate reached new extremes, and violent flashpoints like the Charlie Kirk assassination shook society as a whole. All of this chaos reflected exactly what Kendrick Lamar was warning about in his song, the death of unity, the collapse of an era, and the need to separate artists who stand for substance from a culture obsessed with spectacle. Watch the Party Die wasn't just a song, it was a warning. Kendrick might not have known it consciously, but he saw it all coming and predicted exactly where society was heading. The lyrics said it best: "It's time to watch the party die. This has gone too far to apologize, burn it all down and start over." By the first few bars, it was clear that Kendrick's mission after the battle was to rebuild hip-hop from the ground up. There was no turning back, no apologizing, only tearing down the old system to create something new. It almost felt like he was directly connecting this to his mission when he challenged Drake in their massive rap battle just months before. We'll break down Kendrick Lamar's intentions with that battle and everything that happened during his victory lap later in this video. But ultimately, this moment was bigger than Drake, bigger than one battle. Kendrick later gave an interview where he explained that his goal was to bring back the competitive spirit of hip-hop.
Love when artists grit their teeth.
You created this massive cultural award-winning anthem out of a battle rap song.
My intent from day one was to always keep the nature of it as a sport. I think a lot of people was putting rap to the back and you didn't see that grit, you didn't see that bite anymore.
But what exactly are you competing for? 2 years earlier, Kendrick Lamar had shed his savior complex, telling his audience he wasn't here to save the culture. He needed to focus on himself first before he could try to fix the world around him.
We're doing is using our brain to get out of the ghetto any way we can. So we tell these stories, and they tend to be violent because our world tends to be filled with violence.
And his battle with Drake was tearing down the boundaries and cultural norms within hip-hop, aiming to completely destroy the old standard and rebuild it from the ground up. But before we dive too deep into the battle, one powerful line from the first few bars of this song really stands out. "We even kill the killers cause they like taking innocent lives."
They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They be like, they be saying Sly for Vaughn, I think they trolling me. Yo, by the way, that song is fire, I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see them comments no more. For some odd reason. Might be the water. Be seeing the comments a lot.
They kinda chilled out a little bit.
Think about what has been poisoning not just hip-hop culture, but society as a whole since the start of this new decade, the same decade where Kendrick Lamar has been more silent than ever, speaking only through his music. There's a reason for that, and he hints at it later in this song. I want to share some shocking statistics with you. According to the Center for Homeland Defense and Security's K-12 school shooting database, after the world reopened following the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2021-2022 school year had the highest number of school shootings since records began in 2000. Quasar Family Foundation analysis found that student exposure to school shootings had nearly tripled since 1999, with most of that rise happening during the pandemic years from 2020 to 2024. These numbers are terrifying. And it's not just school shootings. Gun violence overall has been rising at an alarming rate, with 2021 and 2020 reaching record highs for firearm deaths in the US. There were 46,728 firearm-related deaths in 2023, and even that wasn't the highest number ever recorded. This rise in gun violence has been directly mirrored in music. One of the biggest anthems of 2021, Back in Blood, was centered on revenge and payback against your enemies. Lil Durk was previewing the track when he learned that his childhood friend and longtime collaborator, King Von, had been killed in a shooting. The other artist on that song, Pushisti, has been incarcerated since 2022 on a federal firearms conspiracy charge. Then in October 2024, about a month after Kendrick released this song, Lil Durk himself was arrested by federal authorities in connection with a murder-for-hire conspiracy targeting Quando Rondo, the man involved in the altercation that led to King Von's death 4 years earlier. 3 of the most promising young talents in hip-hop have now either lost their lives or their freedom to gun violence. And it doesn't stop with the artists. It spreads online and is often amplified by social media. Viral hashtags like #SlideForVon took over the internet after King Von's death, fueling even more division and hostility.
Kendrick's album, but what's that relationship been like, kind of collabing with him?
Me and Kendrick, we got a lot of little things in common that people probably won't understand. Both of us, we Geminis. Me and him, we could talk, and he understand me beyond than what the internet theories, it's like he got a different perception of me. He ain't count. Like he say we gonna do something, we do it. No, Kendrick from the streets for real too. That boy got a lot.
Tons of internet personalities like DJ Academics, Adam Tutu, and Trap Laura Ross have built entire careers by documenting the violence, crime, and death that plague hip-hop culture and America as a whole. This cultural reset isn't just about the repetitive formula Drake's music has brought to hip-hop over the last decade. It reflects a much darker and bigger picture that has shaped and damaged societal norms more than ever in recent years. I'm not saying this is exactly what Kendrick meant when he rapped these bars, but it perfectly mirrors the chain of events we witnessed after this song dropped. Why try to reason with people who can't see the future? Why argue with clowns? When the circus is already running, just walk that man down. That'll do everyone a favor. It's love, but sometimes tough love has to come with violence. If you live in gluttony without giving truth to the youth, the graveyard is waiting. Just tell us which casket to pick. They party more than women, so what are you even working for? They glorify scamming and people get killed over credit card fraud. Why argue with clowns if the circus is well at work? Kendrick didn't argue. He made a statement with one powerful bar. F the big three, it's just big me. That line paints a bigger picture beyond Drake. If you want to separate yourself from what's happening in society, if you want people to follow you, respect you, and see you as a leader, you must show them why you're superior, not just through your skills and words, but through your moral compass and your actions. The line Kendrick is drawing is clear. Why waste time reasoning with people who can't see ahead? Why argue with clowns when social media has made being a clown a full career? That's why the term brain rot has become so common. We are consuming content mindlessly, drowning in gluttony. And Kendrick warns that if you parade in gluttony without telling the truth to the youth, all that's left is the graveyard. That warning felt even more real when we heard what Young Thug was saying about Kendrick Lamar while he was locked up. Thug was willing to sabotage his own artist Gunna's career over street politics, planning to drop an album the same day as Gunna's and stack it with features from everyone in the industry. He didn't even know who Morgan Wallen was, but when he saw Wallen beating him for the #1 spot, he wanted him on the project just to win. And without truly respecting who Kendrick is or what he stands for, he still wanted Kendrick to jump on the album. When Kendrick rejected the request, Young Thug ranted, claiming Kendrick would never lead the culture because he doesn't parade. In gluttony, he doesn't collaborate with everyone, he doesn't move like Drake, who constantly puts other artists on, working with Lil Baby, 21 Savage, Moneybagg Yo, and Thug himself. Thug complained that Kendrick refuses features, won't work with superstars calling him for songs, and that's why he'll never be bigger than Drake. He praised Drake for putting so many people on and giving them a way to feed their families. But this is where Drake and Kendrick differ. Their strategies for creating and executing their art are not the same. Kendrick did put people on with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, but he used them as centerpieces to tell deeper stories about society's fractures, showing how generational cycles of trauma and oppression shape broken people. Kodak Black, for example, was placed deliberately on the album, not just as a feature, but as an interlude to document his journey, his pain, and his process of becoming a better person.